All right, guys, today we're going to be finishing our Australian Aboriginal animal project. So last time we made our animal and then we also cut some circles for the background. Today we're going to add some designs on our animal, and then we're also going to print some dots on and around our circles, just like they did in Aboriginal artwork. So we're going to be using our metallic markers, and you can look at this page for ideas if you want on how to draw some shapes on your animal. So this sheet has a lot of detail on it. So if I look at this turtle, it's got a lot of dots and a lot of lines and a lot of shapes. You do not have to draw all of those details. This might just give you some good ideas of like the big shapes to add to your animal. So you're gonna choose a metallic marker. You can use more than one color if you want. And you're gonna draw some shapes on your animal to kind of break up the space. So I do like on this turtle how it has kind of like an oval shape in the middle. And then it has these kind of diagonal shapes going around. If you want to do this in your pencil first, you could do that and then trace it with your metallic marker. Okay, and then maybe I will do like a couple lines around the edge because I still have some extra space around my turtle. But I'm also not drawing a lot of tiny details. So I'm not gonna do like every single dot, every single line, because we still wanna have some room to add our paint dots. Okay, so I think that's enough detail on my turtle right now, and I still have space to do paint dots, but it's not just one blank turtle. And if you were doing an animal like, let's see, like the bird, the emu, for example, that bird has a lot of lines on it. But what you could do is you could draw maybe these like big circles. Some of those would be cool. The eye, you could do kind of these shapes on the legs. And then you could do the small details with your paint dots. So kind of look at the big shapes and put those on your animal with your marker. And then I'm also going to make some designs in my background before I add my paint dots. So I'm just kind of making these lines that go around my shapes in the background. I'm not tracing any of my shapes because I want to leave space around everything for when I add my dots. All right, so I have filled up my background, and I did not just like scribble or draw random shapes. All of my shapes are fitting kind of like a puzzle inside these background shapes that are behind my turtle. So this shape, I looked at the circles on the edge and the fin, this other circle, and I made a similar shape. And so everything kind of like fits in those spaces like puzzle pieces. So when you've got some lines drawn in the background with your metallic markers, then we can use our paint to make our dots. So for this, you can use the back of a paintbrush for a bigger dot, and you can use one of these little sticks for a smaller dot. So you could use both if you want, or you could pick one. So I'm gonna start with my bigger dots first, and I'm just gonna choose a color. And I'm gonna start on my circles in the background first. So I'm gonna take my paintbrush and I dipped it in the dark blue paint. And then on my circles, first I'm gonna make a ring around the outside. So you can see my paintbrush started to run out of paint, so my dots started to get smaller. That means I need to go back and add some more paint, and then I can start stamping again. So this part is not something that we should be rushing through, so it takes a little bit of time to do these dots, but that is how they did it in Aboriginal artwork. So we're doing our best to reflect their process. So I finished one circle around, and now in my next row, I'm doing one underneath those dots. And I always want to go around the same edge as my shape. So since this is a circle, I'm always going to go around in a circle and follow that edge. So when you want a new color, all you have to do is wipe off your paintbrush or your stick. So no more paint on there, and then I can switch to a new color. All right, so that circle looks really good. Now I'm going to move on to my next circle. So here's a half circle. So this time I'm going to follow a half circle shape, kind of like a rainbow line. Then I'm going to stop and I can switch colors. Following the shape that I have, always follow the shape you have. We're not just doing random dots everywhere. We're always going in the same shape. All right, so then once you have all of your circles done, then you can do some on your animal. So this time, maybe I want to just do dots in these shapes that I made, or you could do the opposite and do dots in the spaces around your shapes. So whichever one you do, it's just like with the circle, you're going to stamp around the same shape that you have on your animal. So if I'm doing dots around the fin with green, I'm going to follow around the outside of the fin. And I'm not going to stamp on top of my silver line because I still want to show that. So that's dots like on the outside of a shape, or if you're doing dots on the inside of a shape, like maybe I want to do some dots inside these shapes on his shell. So I would follow along the inside just like I did on my circle. Not have to like fill your entire animal with dots, but you can if you want, or you can just do some like on the outsides of your shapes or on the inside of your shapes, whatever you think looks best. All right, guys, so when your dots on your circles and your animal are finished, then you can put your artwork on the drying rack and clean up your table.